like I expected, I was gonna like. I already liked this episode way more than I have liked the past three episodes that have to involve, two entirely different characters. So this week's episode of Boruto has to revolve around Metal Lee and his struggles with him being overly nervous almost all the time. It seems like, or what they continue to say, he has anxiety, and basically, yeah, he does have anxiety. And just by already finishing the episode, because obviously I'm reviewing it, which means I already seen it. This message, the message of the episode, is 1,000 times better than what the past three episodes with Chocho, were. Because the episodes with Chocho, the message with it was basically just to say, don't pretend to be somebody else. Instead, act like yourself, around everybody else, right? Don't pretend to be someone else, because it's just gonna backfire on you in the end. And yeah, that's what happened with Chocho, and in like the second episode of like the three episodes, right? That's what happened. She continued to be somebody who she wasn't, and it backfired on her. And then eventually she figured out, hey, who I am is perfectly fine, and I should go ahead and just continue to be who I am as the person that I know who I am, instead of someone that I'm just pretending to be for somebody else, right? That was the whole premise of the episode for the past like 3 weeks with the past three episodes, right? This episode, with not only just the episode on its own, with the characters that they do bring inside of the episode, the message and the tone of the episode is just immediately a lot better. And basically, the episode is basically revolving around Metal Lee, which isn't a surprise, like I already explained earlier, and how I explained last week. And basically, it's just him dealing with his anxiety. So the episode starts off literally with Metal Lee and Team 5, his group with Iwabe and Denki, and they're talking to Boruto, Sarada, and Mitsuki, and basically they notice that he has this charm necklace around him, right? And he says that he bought it online because it's supposed to supposedly help cure his anxiety, and that's what he says. And spoiler alert, it doesn't end up fucking working out, because the mission that they were given was basically to deliver this plate, which is considered a national treasure for some fucking reason. And what do you know, Metal Lee just ends up fucking breaking it. So the episode continues on, and basically his whole motivation for even buying the damn thing in the first place, not the plate, but the charm necklace, the reason why he bought it in the first place was because his dad, Rock Lee, is basically going to give him training in order to be able to use the 8 inner gates. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't in the beginning of Boruto, when Shikadai used the shadow paralysis jutsu on him, didn't Metal Lee already like open like at least like the second or third gate of the 8 inner gates in like the beginning of the early episodes of the Boruto anime? Correct me if I'm wrong, he really just didn't open the 8 gates whatsoever. But I distinctly remember that, because I remember not too long ago I was watching, Swag Kage's early reviews on the episodes, and even he thought he opened the inner gates. Turns out, I guess he didn't open the inner gates. So the episode continues on, and Rock Lee is, getting ready to prepare to teach Metal Lee how to use the inner gates. He demonstrates the first gate, which is the gate of opening, and the episode actually demonstrates, not demonstrates, but they explain, the 8 inner gates, and the names of them, and basically what they consist of, which is a speed increase, a power increase, and of course there's a toll on your body, and of course there's the gate of opening, the gate of joy, the gate of pain, and then the gate of death, of course. And the gate of death is the 8th gate, and that's the 8th gate that Guy back in the war arc in Shippuden actually used to fight against Madara, and which is why he doesn't have use of one of his legs anymore. And thank God they fucking have fucking they have Guy in this episode, which just made this episode like easily like 20 times better than it already kind of basically is. Having Guy in this episode made it so much better. So, surprise, surprise, Rock Lee notices, Metal Lee, and how he's trying to, run away from his anxiety. And I guess I'll go ahead and explain like the whole premise and, the message of the episode. The message of the episode is basically, everybody goes through their own struggles and their own problems, but it all determines on how you actually confront them yourself. So Guy is in the episode to, give a comparison between himself and Metal Lee. So Metal Lee is going through, some anxiety that he can't get rid of, and he can't, work around it. So he uses an outside source of these charm necklaces, which he believes that will work, but like I said, they don't actually end up working. And instead of actually confronting his anxiety himself and trying to persevere through it, and instead he's just trying to run away and pretend like it doesn't even exist, when obviously it's still there, and no matter what he does, he can't get rid of it. Whilst Mike Guy is in the episode, and there are a couple of points in this episode where he actually, is talking about like, oh yeah, I've been going like through rehab and this, that, and the other. And there's a point in the episode where they actually have him fight against fucking Iwabe and Metal Lee, and I thought this is a good point in the episode because, it shows that even though he doesn't have use of one of his legs, the struggle of him having to go through that rehabilitation to be able to actually start using his leg again, at least a little bit, because even now he can only use it just barely, or at least walk around just barely with one of his legs. It shows that he's going through struggles in his life with not being able to use one of his legs, and he has to go around in the wheelchair and stuff. But his perseverance through all of this rehabilitation is what makes him such a good character, and that's the whole premise of the episode. The premise of the episode is persevere through your struggles, and you'll be rewarded for what you get. And that's what Mike Guy has been doing this entire time with his rehabilitation for his leg. He's able to walk around just as good. He's still basically a taijutsu fucking god. And Metal Lee essentially has to do the same thing. So it gets to the end of the episode. They go through Metal Lee and his team go through another mission, and spoilers, he doesn't persevere through it. They actually fail the mission, but they pass it just barely. Rock Lee starts, he basically gives Metal Lee a fucking challenge. He's offering him to fight him, right? The whole rest of the episode is basically Rock Lee kicking the shit out of Metal Lee. And then Metal Lee, as actually saying, before the fight started, he's not going to run away from his problems anymore. He's not running away from his anxiety. He's going to push through it, persevere through it, and, just, try to get some resolve for himself and, see the truth that he needs to get. And, what do you know? They actually, pull apart fucking one where, I don't know if some of you remember this or if some of you are only watching the Boruto anime and haven't seen Naruto Part 1 or aren't there in Part 1 yet. But basically, spoilers if you don't want to hear it, skip ahead, whatever, right? But basically in Part 1, Rock Lee had the Drunken Fist technique. And if you don't know what the Drunken Fist technique is, basically it's just, martial arts, or in this case with Naruto, taijutsu, but the user of this technique is actually drunk the whole time. And Rock Lee was actually able to use this technique in Part 1 against Kimimaro, which is one of the sound ninja from, one of Orochimaru's fucking dudes, right? And, because of Rock Lee using the Drunken Fist, his attacks were unpredictable, and Kimimaro almost couldn't even deal with him until eventually, and he ended up sobering up in the episode, so that's whatever. But the same thing essentially happens with Metal Lee in the sense that he gets the same kind of like surprise, like amount of fucking like taijutsu like experience, whatever. Think of it how he is with how Rock Lee is with the Drunken Fist technique, and just implement that with Metal Lee, except it only happens when he's nervous and he has anxiety when people are like watching him, I guess. Speaking of which, this entire time as Metal Lee is fighting his dad, there are a whole bunch of fucking people just watching him, and they're laughing at him at first, and they're like, oh wait, he's actually getting better, he's actually kicking ass, dude, let's fucking root for him. And of course this is making it even more nervous, and the adrenaline is pumping through his body. Mike Guy actually even says that himself, and eventually Metal Lee actually opens the first gate, the Gate of Opening, and he does a leaf hurricane and kicks the shit out of Rock Lee. And, the episode actually ends up having a really, really cool, dramatic finish at the end. And I really liked it. This episode was really fucking good. The music was really good. And, it was used at, points in the episode that made sense. The animation, I didn't really notice anything, like, too wrong. I thought the episode actually looked really good in terms of animation. And obviously there weren't really any art style, like, errors or whatever. Overall, this episode was really good. I really enjoyed this episode. This one episode, this is a one episode arc for not Rock Lee, Metal Lee. This is a one episode arc from Metal Lee. Whilst the whole entire 3 episodes with Chocho was such a fucking drag to watch. I didn't even want to fucking continue watching the arc, her little filler arc after the first episode of hers. I couldn't fucking stand her. It was a fucking drag, and she has her fucking butterfly mode, and she can just basically fucking use it just like that, and yeah, she can't use it full fucking strength, but bullshit, she has to have some fucking power amp at least, which is regardless. This episode was really good. I really enjoyed it, and I highly encourage that you guys go and watch this episode, because it was really enjoyable, and having Guy in the fucking episode makes this so much better. And Rock Lee was even actually pretty decent in the episode as well. I wasn't really sure how I really felt about Rock Lee in Boruto anime, but in this episode he was actually pretty decent. And there's character moments for Metal Lee that makes me even like him even more. That's why I'm happy about this episode being good, because it makes me like a character more, and it makes me more invested into the character. Instead of what happened with fucking Chocho, it just made me fucking despise her more. So regardless, that's pretty much the end of the episode. The previews are basically, talking about like the 5 Kage summon or something. All I know is that the third Tsuchikage, Onoki, is in the episode. That asshole from the War Arc and the first 5 Kage summit from Naruto Shippuden, he's still alive. He's in the next episode. I don't know what the fuck they're gonna be doing with him, because apparently, Boruto meets Kinsarda are gonna like take him around like the Leaf Village or whatever. I don't know what the fuck they're planning on doing, but I'm kind of excited. I'm honestly kind of excited. So hopefully my mic didn't like mute or something, because whatever. You probably still heard me anyways, hopefully. So anyways, if you guys did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like. If you're on the YouTube channel, please consider the subscribe button for more videos just like this. I'll see you guys in the next one. Shinobi Strikers is almost here. I'm going to make a couple videos on that, hopefully. And I have a couple other videos that hopefully will be out soon. So anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. I'm out. Peace.